This one's wife. You are no longer taken seriously. Some of you, on hearing the title of that or reading it on the thumbnail, may well have said to yourself or to your cat, well, do you know what? I don't think anybody took them seriously to begin with. But as you know, this one's wife takes herself very seriously. She believes that she has something meaningful to say every time she opens her mouth. She believes that she's an empowered feminist, an authentic philanthropist. She sees herself as a talented content creator, whereas all we see is a narcissist devoid of humour, ability, talent, or charisma. She is desperate to be taken seriously because if she's taken seriously, that shows that people are under control. If she's taken seriously, people provide her with positive fuel. She, of course, doesn't think in such terms of fuel and control because she's an unaware narcissist, but she is desperate to be taken seriously. She thinks that she is a credible person, even though all of the evidence points to the contrary. She could, of course, carved out a role for herself within the royal family by exhibiting service. That she could have enjoyed the status, the title, the wealth, the acclaim, and the adoration and good favour of people by embracing the institution and getting on with it. Were her narcissism of a different type, it would have recognised the gift horse that had been provided, that a mediocre actress had been given one of the biggest leg-ups in history. But it didn't. It wanted her to take more, and as a consequence of being told, no, and you don't do it this way, her narcissism caused her to have a huff and take her ball home with her. The rattle was thrown from the pram, and off she went over the sea. Thus, as a consequence of her arrogance and sense of entitlement, she believed that she could succeed on her own, that she was a serious person that would be taken seriously in her natural home of Hollywood. After all, she's an actress, and it would only be a matter of time before the A-list would be rubbing shoulders with her and saying, "Welcome home, this one's wife. Come to this party. Have this film role. Be involved in this project as an executive producer. You are wonderful and talented. You're one of our kind." But as you know, as a consequence of the repeated victim mentality, the whining and the pity plays, the fact that those established Hollywood A-listers looked at her and thought, "Who the dickens do you think you are, you Janie-come-lately?" she crashed and burned. And this lack of being taken seriously has appeared once again, courtesy of OK, which tells us, via Catherine Tinsley, Prince Harry and this one's wife's latest series, Polo, failed to satisfy critics' expectations, which could mean the Sussex's future in Hollywood is over. Dum dum ba bum bum ba bum ba dum ba bum. Initially, 2024 was seen as the Sussex's redemption year, but their projects failed to rehabilitate their public image. Harry and this one's wife have alienated themselves, American royal commentator Kinsey Schofield told Talk TV. They've made so many wrong moves that I don't think they're taken seriously anymore. And certainly, Kinsey Schofield's observations would undoubtedly be echoed by many people amongst the consumers and the viewers, and of course those within Hollywood themselves. After all, if you squander the opportunity of a lifetime with a $100 million contract with one of the most notable streamers, where else are you going to go? The fact that what you have produced, the first instance was only watched mainly because of the consequence of grudge watching, and thereafter either projects haven't appeared or when they have, they've not been particularly watched and they've certainly not been well received, demonstrates that the problem is most definitely you. Lacking charisma and talent to begin with, but then layering on top of that lashings of unpopularity meant that there would be a heady brew of incompetence and the stench of desperation surrounding the Sussexes. The result is that whatever they create, it pans, and therefore nobody would take them seriously. If Netflix were to renew this contract, Ted Sarandos really needs to go and have a long look at himself in the mirror. One suspects that it won't be the case, and you can't see any other serious broadcaster or streaming outlet offering anything towards them. Why would you spunk your hard-earned cash on a pair of whinging, untalented blowhards that haven't got much in the way of brain cells and manage to alienate nearly everybody that they're involved with? The article continues by explaining that polo was branded as out of touch because the sport is associated with royalty and nobility. I've never seen a more blissfully unaware couple, Schofield shared. Their lack of self-awareness is the only thing they should be receiving trophies for. I do think the Lost Prince documentary humiliated them, the podcaster added while discussing the German film about the duo. It magnified the fact that Harry and this one's wife have had many more failures than successes since they chose to step down as senior members of the royal family. OK previously reported that Polo's low ratings could affect the Sussexes' multi-year deal with Netflix. You think? The new Polo documentary has not received good reviews, and this is another foray into producing from this one's wife and Harry, brand expert Nick Eade said in an interview. It could, like the Invictus documentary, start well to the public's fascination with the pair and with Polo potentially, he noted. The Sussexes' explosive tell-all series, Harry and This One's Wife, broke records for Netflix, but Live to Lead, Heart of Invictus and Polo have yet to reach the network's top 10 list. With very little air time, we don't get to see the pair much, and also hardly any PR around the series. This looks like it's oh no rather than Polo, Eade explained, as the Sussexes only appeared briefly in the 5th episode of the programme. We are still waiting for the new food show from This One's Wife, Eade said of This One's Wife's upcoming series. Polo is known to be an expensive pastime, which might be why viewers didn't want to tune into the new documentary. Well, undoubtedly that was part of the equation, but it's also the fact that it is linked to the Sussexes, and they're wholly unpopular, and therefore people will be looking at it, ready to ridicule it, because they don't like them. Polo is a very niche sport. It's very much a sport for very wealthy people, royal expert Phil Dampier told an outlet. The average person can't afford a polo mallet or stick, let alone a horse or a horse box. I don't think it's going to attract many new players, Dampier continued. I spent many days watching the Royals play polo, and I have to say, it's pretty boring. When Netflix first released the trailer for Polo, viewers predicted the show would not perform well. It's hilarious, but not in a good way. It's so tacky and cringy. It is literally all the worst things about Polo. I watched in appalled hysterics, a source told an outlet after seeing the promotional video. The irony is that polo is actually a surprisingly inclusive sport these days, they added. You do see plenty of rich kids, but there are also plenty of kids from less rarefied backgrounds who just happen to be fantastic riders who are sponsored by the teams. But it's another lame duck for the Sussexes, which underpins the fact that they are no longer taken seriously in Hollywood, which of course will infuriate This One's Wife because she sees herself as a serious player, but moreover, it's going to lead to difficulties because what are they going to do next? Nobody with any sense is going to waste any more money on these two abject losers. And that is a problem for a somatic narcissist who loves spending money. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.